Hi guys, this is Ashmita and I am back with a tutorial video on ice resin. In my last video I had shown you a few of my completed projects, and in this video I'm going to show you how to work with ice resin, and we'll do some simple shapes with an experiment with some molds. So I'm going to show you quickly the mold that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using the Martha Stewart mold, and we're going to be doing all of this, and we're going to be using the ice resin of course, and we're also going to be experimenting with perfect pearls. So let's quickly get started. So like I already shown you in my last video that the ice resin pack comes with two of these jars, and they have already pre-labeled them as A and B. A is the resin and B is the hardener, and you're going to be needing both of these, as well as I'm going to take out a mixing cup and a stirrer for myself, and you have quite a few of these in there, so these will last you. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to start with my A, which is my resin, and you always need to put this in first, and just to make it easier they've labeled it A. So I'm going to get this away, and I'm going to need about let's say I want to make about a batch of 20 ml, so I'm going to need half of 20, so that will be 10 ml. So I need to fill my cup all the way up to 10 ml, and I like to do it at eye level. Sorry if I'm out of frame, and you need to be really very precise with your measurements, or your mixture or your batch will not set. So I'm just going to check and see, and I just about got it right. It will be impossible to show it to you on camera, but I've taken 10 ml of my part A, this one, and then I'm going to take the exact same amount, which is 10 ml of the part B, which is the hardener, and this one flows really fast, so you need to be very careful when you pour this in. So I need to top this up all the way to 20 cc, the amount I need for my projects, and that's it. And as you can see that you distinctly notice the two separate layers of the two liquids that you've just poured in. So I'm just going to make sure that I have the right amount, and I do, and I'm going to take my stirrer and very carefully I'm going to mix these two in. Ice resin is a jeweler's grade resin that can also be used as an adhesive, and it doesn't have any bubbles, and even if you do see some, they will pop off as the resin sets. But still I recommend that you be really gentle when you're stirring, so you don't incorporate too many bubbles into the mixture. But you do have to stir the two together very carefully, so that they are blended together completely. You do need a lot of patience for this, and I'll just fast forward through this part. Now I have my entire mixture blended together well, and you can see there are tons of bubbles in there, and to make them go away you just need to rest the solution for 5 minutes. But you do have to keep in mind that you have about 40 minutes of working time after you've made your concoction. After you've blended them together, you have about 40 to 45 minutes to work with this. till it starts to set. And another thing I would like to mention, that ice resin does need to cure for 24 hours. So even though you're tempted, to not go prodding and poking into your project. So I'm taking my first silicone mold, and I really want to use these stars, and I'm going to use some glitter. So I'm going to take a pinch of glitter and drop it right onto my star. And the smaller one, and I'm just going to tap them around so I have an even spread of glitter, and maybe add a little bit more on the larger one. And what I'm going to do next, since these are really tiny, instead of pouring the resin onto the mold, I'm going to use my stirrer here, and I'm going to gently drop my resin into the mold. This way I have control on the amount of resin that gets into each of my molds. Mind you, this is a really patience-taking job, and if you're short of patience, don't get into it. But at the end of the day, the results are really fun. And you'd love what you've created. So I'm gently topping off the star. I want it to be as straight as possible because I'm going to be gluing them on my projects. So you can see that's done, and then I'm going to go on and move to this one. And I'm just going to spread the resin around. And you can see you really don't need a lot. And I'm just going to move it around and get into the little one. Now that I have them done, I just want to tap them a little and get them as flat as possible. And you can see they look like little ice cubes in there. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more, since the tapping motion has created a little bit more room in there. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And I think that's it. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm not going to touch it for the next 24 hours, and I hope I have luck with that. So now with the rest of the mixture, I have something really fun planned. I'm going to be using some of my perfect pearls. These are from Rangers, and I'm going to mix some into my resin mixture. And I'm just going to take a little bit and mix it first and see if I'm happy with the result. If not, I'll add some more. But I do want to add it a little at a time instead of just dumping a lot into it. So I think I'm going to need some more. A girl can't have enough bling. So I think that looks just beautiful. Does it not? So I am not sure if I need to add some more or I leave it like that. So I might just, I'm just going to add another pinch, a little bit. I'm going to blend that in. That just looks gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the rest of the molds and I'm going to be using this mixture with the perfect pearls in it, and I'm going to fill them in. So let's start with this large frame here, and this has to be one of my favorite molds from Martha Stewart. Again, instead of pouring it in, I'm going to use my blending tool so that I can get into all the nooks and crannies first. And I know that it gets in there because I want to get all these beautiful ornate shapes. So you have to pour it gently in, and I am getting into the moldings first. So I know I have covered those areas, and then I'm going to fill the rest of the gaps in. It's already looking really beautiful. So for this one, since it's a larger mold, you have more control over your resin, but still you need to be very careful that you do not have a spillover, because that's going to just end up ruining your final piece. So I'm just going to gently tap this. So I have all of my my resin mixture set into my mold properly, and I'm going to put that aside as well, and I'm going to move on to the other ones. So giving it a good mix, and I'm going to put into these molds. It may be tempting for you to check on your projects again and again, but do resist the urge to put your thumbs, because it will, if it's not set all the way, it will capture your fingerprints or any dirt or grime that's floating about. So what I like to do is I generally cover up my projects and I do them before I go to bed. That way I won't be prodding into them. So I'm giving this a gentle tap as well for the resin to settle, and that's done. And I really love these moldings. So for something like this, you do need to use your this applicator. It's impossible to pour and have control of your resin mixture. Some of it pouring off the side. A little bit more. And that's it. And these silicone molds are amazing because you don't need to apply any grease or releasing agent. You can pour resin or wax or clay, anything into it, and you just need to know the trick to take them out. All you need to do is just twist about and it'll release the little shapes. Just a little bit more, and that's it. I'm going to give this one a good tap as well. And that's it. So these are all the molds, and they will begin to set in a while. So if you see any bubbles rising up, you can just pop them with the pin. But since these are going to be the wrong side of the pieces, because this is going to be the back of the piece, so I don't care as long as the front of my piece is bubble free. And in these pieces you can see I do not have any bubbles, so I'm really happy with myself for managing to do that. And this one is a complete experiment, and I haven't seen anybody try this, so I'm really hoping that this one works out well. And I haven't seen anybody combining perfect pearls with resin as well, so actually the entire thing is a bit of a gamble. So I will be back after 24 hours and you're going to watch me unmolding all of this, and let's cross our fingers that all of this turns okay. Hi guys, so I'm back after 24 hours and I've waited for these pieces to set. I've given them 24 hours. I've not handled them at all, and believe me, it was really patience testing for me. So let's just start demolding these, and let's see what's come off these little stars. Okay, this one popped off really easily, so this looks amazing, and it's got that really nice frosted look. And let me get some black cardstock to show you this against. So that looks really nice. Let's get the others off, and all you need to do is just, because this is a silicone mold, it'll just pop right off. So these are my stars and they look beautiful, and it's difficult to show on the video, but these have the captured glitter in them and they look beautiful. So it's got these glitter floating inside, and you may get a little bit of this boo-boo sticking off, some of the extra bits, and you can just take a pair of scissors and you can just snip them off like so. And then let's quickly do this to the rest of the pieces, and these are the ones which had the perfect pearls in them. And just look at that. How pretty are these? And you can distress them or paint them if you want, but for me, I'm going to be doing a shabby chic project, and I wanted all these really nice glittery pearly ones, and I think that's just perfect. So you can use any shade of your perfect pearls and color your resins as well. So I'm really excited about the frame, and let's see how this turned out. And look how easy it is. And we didn't add any grease or oil onto this. Just look at that. Can you imagine I made that? It's just impossible to believe. Just look how beautiful it turned out. And I'll be putting all of this against a black cardstock in a minute. Let's just get these swirls out, and these look beautiful. I just love this. Oh my god. So let's get the small one out first. Wow. Just can't imagine I made these. How beautiful are these? So I'm going to get away with my molds, and I'm going to put all of these against a black cardstock. So that's my frame, and these are little buttons, and then you have your stars and my swirls. How beautiful are these? Handmade embellishments that you can do at home in a matter of minutes. It just took us about 10 minutes to mix the resin and pour it into the molds, and then wait overnight or about a minimum of 24 hours, and you have these beautiful custom made resins that you can go over with your distress markers or your paint daubers, or you can simply ink them, and you can go ahead and you can just alter them with heat embossing. The sky's the limit, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video of mine, and be sure to leave a comment, and if you have any requests about any particular project that I need to do for you guys, so please do mention it in a comment, and I will get around to do one for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.